It's time to uncork the ideas, pour on the real stories, discover the people behind the wines, and taste the good life as it happens. This is Wine Region News Radio with Lynn Diehl, where rock and roll never dies and always pairs with fine winemakers.
Hi everyone, I'm Lynn Diehl. Welcome to In the Food Section, part of Wine Region News Radio. Every single week here in California, we talk about great local products from chefs, from farmers, innovative people who are connected with the wine and food industry locally, who really will make your life easier and a whole lot better. My guest today is one of those people. Nicole Chamberlain is with me today of SanTasti. Hi, Nicole.
Hey, Lynn.
Where's Andrew?
Andrew is at home, unfortunately. He's sick today, but he wishes he could be here, and he says hi.
Okay, Andrew Macaluso, who is her partner in SanTasti and also...
In life.
In life. I was going to say fiance. One of these days, they will be married when they are not so busy establishing their great product line. It's been, what, 2 or 3 years since you launched SanTasti officially?
Yeah, we officially launched and incorporated a week after we graduated in June of 2008. And the first year and a half or so was just a test market, and then we started commercially selling for about a year or so.
Let's just go all the way back. You and Andrew were both in Cal Poly.
Yes.
Were you majoring in chemistry or?
So Andrew was majoring in chemistry, and then I was majoring in biology. And then about 2 years into our program at Cal Poly, we both ended up switching into wine and viticulture. Mostly because we realized we didn't want to live life in the lab, running tests and being lab rats. And we took a couple classes in the new wine and viticulture program at Cal Poly and fell in love with it. And, it was something that we really could get our hands into. It was very hands-on. And we got to use a lot of that chemistry and biology background that we had already learned in the new program.
Many, many winemakers come out of chemistry and biology. Where did you first developed the interest in taking the winemaking classes? Obviously at Cal Poly and with all of the winemakers around here, you were exposed to it. But at what point did you think, I'd kind of be interested in that?
Well, so I actually grew up in Santa Rosa, so Sonoma wine country. And so I always lived around, winemakers. My dad was a dentist, and a lot of his patients were winemakers in the area. And I never really thought seriously about it until I was trying to figure out what I was passionate about halfway through my Cal Poly career studying biology. And, I thought about it, and I've always been around food and family and cooking and wine. And it was something that I realized, hey, this could make a career for itself. And it's something that I'm truly passionate about, that family experience and the dining experience and what food and wine all brings to the table.
You were a biology major. Did you intend to be a doctor, or where were you going with that?
I couldn't even decide. For a while, I was going to be an ecologist, and then I was going to be a marine biologist, and then I was going to be a dentist like my dad for a while. But
obviously, you were searching.
Yeah, I was searching, I guess you could say, yeah.
So those first classes, what was so interesting about them?
I think one of the first classes we took, it was, what was it? I remember the teacher, but it was kind of just a broad overview of fermentation, wine fermentation, and any foods that were fermented, which was kind of cool. And it was something that, it was very applicable to real life, and it wasn't, taking organic chemistry, working with little, molecules and things like that. So it was much more just applicable and something I could really grasp.
Nicole Chamberlain is my guest today. Nicole with SanTasti, her company, with partner Andrew Macaluso. Andrew can't be here today. We'll have to invite him back at another time. I'm going to have you speak for both of you. So
okay.
How did Andrew get interested in it? At the same time?
Yeah, well...
Had you guys met at that point?
Yeah, we actually met our freshman year at Cal Poly in chemistry class. I guess you could say it was chemistry between us. And so we had been together, boyfriend and girlfriend since freshman year of college. And around the same time, we both kind of got disenchanted with our majors, trying to figure out what we were really passionate about. And, everyone wants to find that career that they truly love, and they would rather be there than, at home on the couch kind of thing. And so it was the kind of thing where I was like, hey, we should try out this class. And he was like, okay, why not? And we didn't drop our majors and make the change all of a sudden. And, we tried out a few classes to make sure it was something that we liked. And then we just jumped into it, I guess you could call it fate.
Famously, Cal Poly is a learn-by-doing school. Mm-hmm. And you did learn to winemaking.
Yes. we both, you're required to do an internship at Cal Poly. So we both interned at Orchid Road Cellars, where they, it's Custom Crush, where they make Bailiana and Tangent wines. And then I did a second internship there the following year as one of the Cal Poly winemakers.
So tell me about that.
Well, it was a great experience because my fellow winemaker, Mike Bruzis, he and I were able to, start in the vineyard with the grapes, checking, berry sampling probably every week in the early morning hours, and then heading over to the winery in the afternoon, taking, readings off those berry samples. And once the fruit came in, we were able to take it through every single process of winemaking. So it was, I guess you could say, learn by doing, very hands-on.
Mike is at Chamisal Vineyard.
Yes.
And Ben Dufresne, the winemaker from Chamisal, was just here to tape a show with me this morning.
Small world.
So it is a small world. So, Nicole, why didn't you decide to become a winemaker?
Well, it was one of those things. I think you have to grab opportunities when they're in front of you. You can't just let them slip out of your hands. And SanTasti was something that Andrew and I, it was kind of one of those light bulb moments. Andrew and I were actually studying for some GE final. I don't even remember what it was. And Andrew turned to me and he's like, what if there was a palate cleanser that you could actually drink? And I was like, well, there's nothing out there. People just use crackers. They use
water,
Coors Light, water. We've heard, the whole gamut of different things. And at the time, Andrew has this very entrepreneurial drive about him and something that I never grew up with. But so we started an idea book. He's like, hey, I'll put it in the idea book. And we kept studying. And then we came back to it probably, 3 or 4 months later. And we're like, hey, you know what? This might be a viable idea. And
were you a junior or a senior? Or?
I think we were both. I think that was the end of our junior year, getting into the senior year. Because I remember we had a family reunion up in Tahoe that summer in between junior and senior years. And we nicknamed the project that we were working on SanTasti Project Tahoe. I think technically it was our 4th year senior year and 5th year senior year.
So you had an idea book.
Yes. Yeah. We, it's something I definitely recommend to people who want to own their own business and want to create ideas and develop ideas. And it's one of those things where you have that random idea on Saturday afternoon. If you don't write it down, hell, you might just forget it. So.
Yeah, I keep a spiral notebook with me.
Yeah, I do too.
I have it right in front of me. The only problem is that I have many spiral notebooks. So I've been trying to remember to keep one notebook with me during most of the year so that these random thoughts are not scribbled down here and there.
I do the same thing.
I'll be driving along and, and think of something. I do a lot of thinking in the car. And by the time you get home, that thought is gone.
Totally.
Poof, it's gone. But a good spiral notebook, observations, things that you think about, some of them you cross them off a list, but it's a good thing to do. We've been talking about the idea book with Nicole Chamberlain of SanTasti. Andrew Macaluso, her partner, is not with her today, so we're drilling Nicole on all the details about the company. What you need to know is that it is a palate cleansing beverage that you can drink. Now, palate cleansing beverage sounds a little bit maybe intimidating, except when you sit down in front of 6 wines at one of these great events, you'll find that the palate cleansing beverage is your best friend. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll explain why and how recently it really helped me experience some great French wines and not worry about overlapping flavors. We'll be right back.